Today I would like to invite you to listen to the Dhammapada of the Buddha Shakyamuni. 172nd verses from the Buddhist scriptures on the YouTube channel Thien Thai in the USA. Whoever was heedless before and afterwards is not. Such a one illumines this world like the moon freed from clouds. In the time of the Blessed One, there was a monk who before meeting the Dharma lived carelessly and without mindfulness. His mind wandered in worldly desires, and he did not understand the suffering hidden inside pleasure. Later he encountered the teachings of the Buddha. He began to reflect deeply on impermanence, suffering, and non-self. He restrained his body, speech, and mind. He cultivated mindfulness day and night. The darkness within him slowly faded away. The Buddha then spoke this verse to encourage all beings. Even if one has lived in ignorance before, once one awakens and practices sincerely, one can still shine brightly in the world like the moon emerging from clouds. This teaching opens the door of hope for all people. No person is forever stained by the mistakes of the past. If the mind turns toward goodness and wisdom, the light of compassion will arise naturally. The Buddha did not reject those who once made mistakes. He always looked at the possibility of awakening hidden within every living being. Therefore, this verse is gentle like cool water in the heat of suffering. It reminds us that transformation is possible. The past cannot imprison a mindful heart. A person who sincerely repents and practices the Dharma can illuminate the world with peace and kindness. Dear friends on the path of practice, human life often passes in heedlessness. Many people wake up every morning only to chase after worries, desires, anger, and competition. Days and months quietly pass away like clouds drifting through the sky. Sometimes people spend their whole lives searching for happiness outside themselves without realizing that suffering grows from an untrained mind. Heedlessness is not only forgetting to meditate or neglecting the teachings. Heedlessness means living without awareness of what we think, say, and do. A careless word can wound another person deeply. A selfish action can create suffering for many people. A mind filled with greed and anger can destroy the peace of an entire family. The Buddha understood this clearly. Therefore, he always taught mindfulness as the foundation of liberation. When mindfulness is absent, ignorance takes control. When ignorance rules the mind, suffering follows naturally like a cartwheel following the foot of the ox. Yet the Blessed One never taught with hopelessness. He knew that even a person lost in darkness for many years can still discover the path of awakening. A single lamp can illuminate a dark room that has been without light for thousands of years. Darkness disappears immediately when light appears. In the same way, wisdom can dissolve ignorance. Compassion can dissolve hatred. Mindfulness can dissolve confusion. Therefore, no one should despair because of their past. Some people carry deep regret in their hearts. They remember mistakes made many years ago. They think they are unworthy of goodness. They believe peace can never return to their lives. But the Buddha's teaching is filled with mercy. He showed that every moment is a new opportunity to awaken. The breath entering and leaving the body is already a miracle. As long as life remains, transformation remains possible. When a person recognizes suffering and sincerely practices the Dharma, the heart gradually becomes softer and clearer. Just as muddy water settles and becomes transparent when left undisturbed, the restless mind also becomes peaceful through mindfulness and meditation. Then wisdom begins to arise naturally. One starts seeing the world differently. Instead of blaming others, one understands causes and conditions. Instead of clinging tightly, one learns to let go. Instead of creating harm, one wishes to protect all beings. This is the moon emerging from clouds. The moon was always there. It was only hidden temporarily. Likewise, Buddha nature has always existed within every person. Clouds of greed, hatred, and delusion merely cover it. Through practice, these clouds slowly part, revealing the bright and peaceful nature of the mind. There are moments in life when suffering becomes a great teacher. Sometimes a person only begins to awaken after experiencing loss, disappointment, illness, or failure. Before suffering arrives, the mind may be intoxicated with pleasure and pride. Wealth, fame, beauty, and success can make people forget impermanence. But when life changes unexpectedly, the illusion of permanence begins to crack. Then the heart starts searching for something deeper and more reliable. Many disciples during the Buddhist time came to the Dharma through suffering. Some lost loved ones. Some experienced betrayal. Some became weary of worldly pleasures that could never satisfy the heart completely. Their pain became the doorway to wisdom. This is why suffering should not always be feared. When understood correctly, suffering can awaken compassion and understanding. A seed only sprouts after the shell breaks open. In the same way, wisdom often arises after the heart has been humbled by life. The important thing is whether we use suffering to awaken or to sink deeper into bitterness. A mindful person learns from suffering. An unmindful person becomes trapped by it. The Buddha taught that suffering itself is not the enemy. Ignorance about suffering is the true problem. If we observe suffering carefully, we begin seeing its causes. We notice attachment, craving, pride, and anger operating within the mind. Once the causes are understood, the path to liberation also becomes clear. Therefore, every difficult experience can become part of spiritual practice. A harsh word from another person can teach patience. A painful loss can teach impermanence. Illness can teach humility and gratitude. Failure can teach compassion for others who struggle. The Dharma transforms suffering into wisdom, just as a lotus grows from mud. The lotus does not reject the mud. Without mud, there is no lotus. Likewise, without understanding suffering, there can be no awakening. The person who was once heedless but later practices sincerely often develops deep compassion because they understand human weakness. Such a person no longer judges others harshly. Instead, they encourage and support those still struggling in darkness. They become gentle in speech and humble in behavior. Their presence brings comfort to others. This is true illumination in the world. Not the brightness of fame or wealth, but the quiet light of compassion and understanding. Mindfulness is like a guardian standing at the gate of the mind. Without mindfulness, harmful thoughts enter easily. Anger enters. Jealousy enters. Fear enters. Desire enters. Then suffering spreads through body and speech. But when mindfulness is present, the mind becomes calm and watchful. We begin noticing thoughts before they become actions. We recognize emotions before they control us. This awareness creates freedom. Many people think freedom means doing whatever one desires. But the Buddha taught a deeper freedom. True freedom means not being enslaved by greed, hatred, and delusion. A person controlled by anger is not free. A person addicted to desire is not free. A person trapped by pride and fear is not free. Mindfulness gradually unties these inner chains. Through meditation and awareness, the heart becomes spacious and peaceful. One no longer reacts blindly to every situation. Instead, one responds with wisdom and compassion. This transformation does not happen overnight. Clouds do not disappear instantly from the sky. Practice requires patience and sincerity. Some days the mind feels peaceful. Other days restlessness and confusion return strongly. Yet every moment of mindfulness plants wholesome seeds within consciousness. Even small acts of awareness have great power. Smiling gently instead of speaking harshly is already a victory. Pausing before reacting in anger is already wisdom. Listening deeply to another person is already compassion. The path of awakening is built from many simple mindful moments. Gradually the heart changes. The face becomes softer. Speech becomes kinder. Relationships become more harmonious. Inner peace slowly grows stronger than outer circumstances. This is why the Buddha praised mindfulness again and again. A mindful person protects themselves and protects others. They walk carefully in life, like someone carrying a bowl filled to the brim with oil. Every step is taken with awareness. Such a person creates less suffering in the world. Their peaceful energy naturally influences others. Even without many words, their presence teaches the Dharma. Like the moon quietly illuminating the night sky, they bring calmness wherever they go. Sometimes people feel discouraged because they compare themselves with others. They see someone more advanced in meditation or more knowledgeable in the scriptures and begin feeling inferior. But the Dharma path is not a competition. Every person walks according to their causes and conditions. Some people awaken quickly. Others need more time. The important thing is sincerity. A small stream flowing steadily can eventually reach the ocean. Likewise, steady practice leads gradually toward liberation. The Buddha never asked people to become perfect immediately. He simply encouraged continuous mindfulness and compassionate effort. If today we are slightly kinder than yesterday, that is already progress. If today we are slightly more patient and understanding, that is already beautiful. Spiritual growth often happens quietly. Just as a tree grows slowly day by day without making noise, wisdom also develops gently within the heart. Therefore, practitioners should not lose faith in themselves. Even if old habits still appear, continue practicing patiently. Clouds may return to the sky, but they cannot destroy the moon. The moon remains untouched behind them. Likewise, Buddha nature remains pure beneath temporary defilements. Through mindfulness and compassion, the clouds gradually become thinner. One day the mind suddenly feels lighter and freer. Old anger loses its strength. Old cravings weaken. Forgiveness becomes easier. Joy arises from simple things. This is the fruit of practice. It is not necessary to wait for extraordinary spiritual experiences. Peace already exists in ordinary mindful living. Drinking tea with awareness is practice. Walking peacefully is practice. Speaking kindly is practice. Caring for parents with gratitude is practice. Helping another person without expecting reward is practice. Every moment can become sacred when mindfulness is present. The Dharma is not far away. It exists within daily life. When the mind becomes calm and compassionate, the Pure Land appears right here in this world. Then even difficult situations become opportunities to cultivate wisdom and love. The Buddha often used the image of the moon because the moon gives gentle light without burning or blinding. In the same way, true wisdom is gentle and compassionate. A spiritually mature person does not force or control others. They do not seek praise or recognition. Their goodness flows naturally like cool moonlight. When others suffer, they offer understanding. When others are angry, they respond with patience. When others are lost, they offer guidance with humility. Such a person becomes a refuge for many beings. The world today greatly needs this kind of light. Modern society moves quickly. People are often overwhelmed by anxiety, loneliness, and pressure. Technology connects people outwardly, but many hearts still feel isolated inwardly. Families sometimes live together without truly understanding one another. Communities become divided by anger and fear. In such a world, mindfulness and compassion are precious treasures. A single peaceful person can influence an entire family. A compassionate teacher can transform many students. A wise parent can guide children toward kindness. Never underestimate the power of a gentle heart. The fragrance of virtue travels farther than the fragrance of flowers. Even after a good person leaves this world, their kindness continues touching many lives. Therefore, practitioners should cultivate inner beauty rather than chasing temporary appearances. Physical beauty fades with time. Wealth and fame disappear like morning dew. But compassion and wisdom remain valuable forever. They accompany consciousness beyond this lifetime. When people truly understand impermanence, they stop wasting energy on unnecessary conflict and attachment. They begin cherishing each moment more deeply. They become grateful for simple blessings such as breathing peacefully, sharing meals with loved ones, hearing the Dharma, and having opportunities to help others. Gratitude itself is a form of mindfulness. A grateful heart suffers less because it recognizes the goodness already present in life. The Buddha encouraged contentment because endless craving creates endless dissatisfaction. A person who always wants more can never rest peacefully. But a content person finds joy even in simple living. Such contentment does not mean laziness or lack of aspiration. It means understanding what truly brings happiness. Inner peace is more valuable than endless possessions. Loving relationships are more valuable than status. A calm mind is more precious than worldly success. Compassion is the natural fragrance of awakening. When wisdom deepens, compassion also deepens. A person who understands suffering cannot help but care for others. The Buddha's heart embraced all beings equally. He did not separate rich from poor, educated from uneducated, noble from lowly. He saw that all beings seek happiness and fear suffering. Therefore, he taught with immense patience and kindness. Practitioners should learn this spirit of inclusiveness. Sometimes people become proud because of spiritual practice. They look down on those who struggle or live differently. This is not true wisdom. Genuine practice makes the heart humble. One realizes how much ignorance still exists within oneself. Instead of judging others, one develops empathy and patience. The person who was once heedless often becomes especially compassionate because they remember their own confusion in the past. They know how painful ignorance can be. Therefore, they do not reject those still lost in anger or desire. Instead, they quietly encourage them through kindness and example. This is one of the most beautiful aspects of the Dharma. It transforms suffering into compassion. It transforms mistakes into wisdom. It transforms darkness into light. Even a painful past can become fertile ground for awakening when approached with mindfulness. Therefore, practitioners should not hate themselves for past errors. Regret is useful only when it leads to understanding and transformation. Endless guilt only creates more suffering. The Buddha taught repentance together with renewal. One acknowledges mistakes honestly, makes efforts to correct them, and then continues walking forward with mindfulness. Like a traveler who falls on the road but stands up again, practitioners continue the journey without despair. Every day offers a chance to begin anew. Morning sunlight does not reject the earth because of yesterday's storms. Likewise, the Dharma always welcomes sincere hearts. No matter how long ignorance lasted, awakening remains possible. This is why the Buddha's teachings continue bringing hope to countless beings across centuries. The moon of wisdom still shines above the clouds of human suffering. Whenever mindfulness arises, the clouds begin parting. Whenever compassion arises, the world becomes brighter. Thank you for watching my video. Namo Amitabha. I wish to bring this merit towards all disciples and sentient beings, all of whom will attain Buddhahood. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I really appreciate your time.